Well, let me ask you, is your 30-30 brush worthy? Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll have an adventure or two that'll make even a grown man smile. And yes, in today's video, we are going to take a look at, and this is episode 3 of the Best Brush Cartridge series for 2021, and we've already looked at the 35 Remington, the 45 Colt, and now we're looking at what many would argue is the quintessential brush cartridge, and that's the 30-30 Winchester. I've got 3 different loads, 3 different bullets to test, and the way the test works is I'll set up a couple of coupons. We'll shoot through the coupons, or a couple of sticks, and together I call them my test coupons, and we'll shoot through those coupons and see how much they cause the bullets to deflect. And to send those rounds downrange, we have what is just one spectacular Model 94 Winchester. And this one is from 1949. It belongs to my cousin, and you may have seen it on the channel before. My cousin's dad bought this in 1949 when he was working in the copper mines of southern Arizona. And boy, it has character, I gotta tell you. A well-used working man's rifle. You can tell by the wear patterns on the receiver that it was carried a lot in the field. I doubt that this gun ever shot a round, not one round, at a designated rifle range. What a great treasure my cousin has here with his dad's 30-30. And so we're going to use that. Thank you, Casey, for letting me borrow this. And so we're going to use this for sending these rounds downrange. And speaking of which, I've got 3 rounds to test. The first one is the 150 grain flat nose bullet from Federal. And then I've got a 170 grain bullet from, these are, hello, 170 grain, there we go, 170 grain Nosler Partition bullet. These are Federal loads also. And then we have some buffalo bore ammo, 190 grain jacketed soft point bullet, 2100 feet per second, 190 grains out of a 30-30. Wow. So here's the way this is going to work. In just a minute we're going to break off, and I'm going to show you the footage that I shot a couple of weeks ago. And why was it a couple of weeks ago? We'll talk about that now. And if you want to skip to the, if you want to skip straight to the shooting, I've got some chapters in the description below that you can check, and then you can skip forward to just the shooting part. And then once we get the shooting out of the way, we'll come back and analyze what we saw. But right now, I just need to do a little bit of housekeeping and explain, because we didn't have a video last week. And the reason is because I uploaded the software here in my computer, my video editing software from DaVinci Resolve. And when I updated the software, it no longer recognized the 15-year-old headphones, really nice gaming headphones that my son had loaned me for doing my video editing. And so it took me a long time to figure out what the problem was, not being a technophobe myself. And it just took a long time. My son helped me a lot in figuring out that it was the software update was no longer recognizing the headphones. And so I had to buy a new set of headphones. They're kind of expensive, these video editing headphones. And things like that are really enabled by, among other things, by my patrons who support me financially. And specifically, and this is something I mentioned several weeks ago, I wanted to say thank you to my patrons. And then I never said what it was what I was thankful for, but it was for this monitor right here. And I will show you guys that. You could see that I have a larger monitor on top of the camera. and that as a single creator, as they say, it helps me to see what the frame is. It helps me to see the focus. It helps me to see everything. Make sure that what is gonna get downloaded or uploaded into the video editing software is what I want it to be. And that specifically was made possible by donations from my patrons. And I want to say thanks. And if you would like to join me, join my cadre of patrons, there is a link in the description below. You can click on that and it will take you. It's a really simple process. But by the way, this is not the gun that won the West, but this is sure the gun that won my heart as a kid. And so I'm really blessed to have, especially one with the kind of history that this one has in the family. And let's see. Right now, let's just head back to the range. We'll use the time machine because this footage was actually filmed a couple of weeks ago back at the farm when it was hot. And let's take a look at those shots, and then we'll come back here and real quick we will dissect those targets and see what kind of information we can glean about the 3030 Winchester cartridge and its brush busting abilities. Well, there it is. There's the there's all the shooting, and there's a little bit of interesting stuff going on here. But we're going to talk about this back in the grand room. And so let's re-adjourn and discuss what we have run into here. And I think it's going to be interesting. Well, what a joy it was to shoot the 1949 Winchester Model 94 30-30 Winchester cartridge. It was really, really a treasure. Highlight of my, I believe, a highlight of my Target Suite channel so far, just because of the history and just the nature of this great Winchester Model 94. And one thing I thought about, just to put things in perspective, when this gun was made in 1949, the 30-30 Winchester cartridge was only 54 years old. And so I don't know why that came to mind, but that was that caught me by surprise. But 30-30 Winchester cartridge, been around since 1895. It's killed more deer than probably any other cartridge, so they say. Now I know a lot of you guys and maybe some girls too are going to think that if you're not shooting the latest 33 caliber ultra super long belted mag, then you're undergunned in the brush. So there's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the folks that think they can shoot through trees with their 30-30 Winchester and still be on target. And somewhere in between those two extremes lies the truth. And what we found here with these targets, it was interesting. And the one that surprised me the most was this target, the one with the 150 grain flat nose bullet from Federal, because that's actually a fairly small group. That's about a 2.5 inch group of all of those shots. And we didn't show any keyholing per se, but we did show some pre-mushrooming going through those coupons. But all of those shots landed in a reasonably small group. I would say certainly a boiler room sized group on the steel target that was about 7 yards behind the paper target. So I was really surprised about that. Now that's a small data point. You know, that's not enough shots to declare anything dramatic, but nonetheless, I was surprised with the 150 grain bullet. The 170 grain, I only had 5 of these bullets. That's why there's only 2 shots on paper before I put up the coupons. But we had 1 shot here. We had, the last shot was down here, and you could see it actually impacted the steel target down low also. And this guy right here missed the steel target altogether. So 170 grain Nosler Partition bullet, I would say it just didn't seem to perform as well. As far as deflection goes, it didn't seem to perform as well as the 150 grain bullet. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then I had great high hopes for the 190 grain Buffalo Bore bullets. Golly, those 190 grain bullets at 2100 feet per second. That's pretty powerful stuff, and it kicked that way as well. But what did we find out? We found that we had 1, 2, 3 targets, or 3 shots without coupons, and then we had 1 shot here through the coupon, but then we had here and here, we had the quintessential keyhole where the bullets actually went through the paper sideways. And this guy right here, actually when it went through the coupon, shed a piece of lead, and it made this hole as well. So we have this bullet right here, and this hole right here came from the same shot. And so that 190 grain bullet may be great for some things, but I would say if there's any chance at all that you're going to be hitting the incidental brush in thick woods, I wouldn't use that Buffalo Bore, not this bullet, because that big exposed lead nose, I think, was just too soft. See if I can get that just too soft for the coupons. So But what a great, what a great day. It's been spread out over a couple of weeks, and the problems I had, my goodness, it was tough getting here to the finish line with the 3030 Winchester cartridge. But I want to say thanks for watching, and we're going to do some tests with the ballistic gel with the 190 grain bullet as well as the 150, 170 grain. So once we get through all of the deflection testing, then we're going to bring all these guns back out, or maybe not all of them, but some of them we're going to bring back out, and we're going to run them through the ballistic gel and see how they perform, compare terminal energy side by side, so to speak, once we get done with all the deflection testing. So I hope you'll stay with me until we get to that point, because I think that's going to even be more fun, a little less technical. But I want to say thanks for watching, and I'm going to show you now some footage. A lot of you had commented about my son's little German short-haired pointer and wished there was more video. When I was in his shop, you got to see just a glimpse of that little dog. And so here's a treat for you dog lovers. And I'll see all of you dog lovers and et al. In the next video.